Hello, welcome to my channel, Nurturing the Nurturer, restoring strength to those caregivers who give it all. Now, today's subject may be a little challenging, but it's all a part of caregiving, especially if you're taking care of your loved one or your mom or dad that used to be totally independent, doing things on their own. Heck, mom and dad probably was driving a few months ago, but now they're totally dependent on you and totally dependent on the care that they're receiving from you. And with that being said, you're like, oh my God, I'm taking care of mom, taking care of dad, taking care of my loved one. And now that they're totally dependent on me, it's going to be a day that, and it could be soon that they're no longer going to be here with me, or I'm taking care of my loved one. And as this dementia or Alzheimer's, as it's progressing, it's going to be a day that they're no longer going to know who I am. And that's hard. I don't know if I can deal with that. Well, if that is you, I need you to stick around because we're going to talk about it. Grief or anticipatory grief, and it's all part of it. So if you believe that all of this will be beneficial to you, then stick around, like, comment, and subscribe. Stay till the end, and I'll give you a tip to help set your day up for success. So let me talk to you about grief. So grief is the natural response to loss. Grief is deep, it's personal, and there is no right or wrong way to grieve. You have the right to grieve how you want to, and don't allow anyone to tell you how you should grieve. You can grieve due to the loss of your loved one, but you can grieve due to the anticipatory loss as well of knowing that, oh my God, I got to prepare myself because mom and dad may not be here, or my loved one may not be here long. Or, like I said, that anticipatory grief of knowing, wow, they have dementia, Alzheimer's, and just the thought of one day my mom or dad is not going to even know who I am. That could be a lot. I remember my grandma, she had dementia as well. And how can I put this? In the beginning, because sometimes people with dementia or sometimes they can compensate really well in the very beginning stages where you don't even really realize that they have dementia. They may be doing little things that you're like, wait a minute, that's a little off, but you still really don't feed into it because they probably can still answer questions appropriately. They probably can still do chores around the house appropriately. So you're really not questioning anything. And that's what my grandma was doing. She was still able to answer questions appropriately, still doing things around the house. Heck, she was even watching my son when he was little. But what ended up happening was one day we we were seeing the little things, and I think my cousin, she saw it even more than we did for whatever reason. And I don't know, maybe we were in denial. I don't know. But one day we asked her to go look in the mirror. And when she looked in the mirror, she did not know herself. So that was, that was like, oh my God, she really does have dementia. She's really going through this. So us having to gather and talk about this and what we're going to do, and her eventually, of course, leaving and going to Alabama to stay with my dad so he could take care of her. But she eventually, of course, did not even know who I was. I remember going to Alabama and seeing her. And when I went to see her, I'm like, you know me? Who am I? Asking her, to tell me my name or whatever. And she did not know me per se. But when I told her, I said, do you remember Yolanda? She said, yeah, that's the girl with all them kids. I only have 3 boys, y'all. But hey, maybe to her it was a lot. I don't know. But just knowing the thought that, wow, my grandma don't even know me anymore. That's kind of sad. That hurts you on the inside. But she didn't know us. With grief, sometimes You can feel sadness, you can feel anger, but you can also feel a sense of relief. And why I want to speak on relief because sometimes when a person pass away, we kind of feel, if we feel that sense of relief, you kind of feel like, oh my God, I feel guilty about that's not normal. I shouldn't be feeling good or relief when my loved one is gone. So you start feeling guilt and hurt over guilt because you're feeling relief because your loved one is gone. And that's just truthfully feeling relief is a natural response also to grief. And what I'll give you an example of is when I did hospice nursing. Sometimes if we have a patient that is in so much pain, then and the loved one experience the pain that they're well, let me back up. The caregiver experienced the pain and seeing their loved one in pain, that could be a lot, and it was a lot for some. So when the patient finally passed away, they felt like a sense of relief because they're saying, yes, I am sad. Yes, I am hurt. But knowing that they're no longer in pain anymore like they were, that's a sense of relief. Now, us as hospice nurses, what we want to do, we would like to give the person the best quality of life while they're still with us. And with that being said, some people, you can't take the pain totally away. You can take it away some, but you can't take it totally away. But if we can even make, of course, the pain tolerable. So just say, how you go to the hospital and they ask you, okay, what's your pain score? And you say, what's your pain score from a 0 to 10, 0 being no pain, 10 being your worst pain ever. And the person may say, my pain is a 6, and to this particular person a 6 is excruciating, but they're wanting their pain, if I can get it at a 2. And believe it or not, some people are happy to have their pain at a 2, or yeah, they still feeling the pain, but it's tolerable. They can tolerate it. They can still go on about their day and even engage in maybe activities that they were doing because yes, I'm at a 2, but I'm happy at that 2, and it's tolerable. And that may sound strange to some people, but yes, having pain to some people is okay as long as it's not the pain that the severe pain that they're used to being in. So yes, when a loved one sees their loved one, they've been battling through with this pain for so long, and they finally see some type of relief. And then, of course, and the person, their loved one can pass away. They're like, man, I want them here, but I am feeling relief that they're no longer in the pain that they were in. So that is normal. The sense of sadness and anger you can feel. I remember driving down the street and getting a phone call. Actually, I was with someone and I was on the passenger side. And I just remember the phone call from my mom. And my mom was like, hey, we've been trying to get in touch with your brother and we haven't, he's not answering or anything. We don't know what's going on. We need for you to go and check. So we went to check on my brother. And of course, when we got there and we got into the apartment and everything, he had passed away. But I just remember feeling the hurt, the anger, sadness. It was all just built up in me. It was oh, that was the worst sadness and everything, not only with the person, your loved one passing away, but you finding them. That's like the undescribable pain. But anyway, to move forward, when I was feeling this anger and this hurt and all these emotions, and it just wouldn't go away, I'm like, okay, I have to do something because we know that emotions, they're normal. Emotions are designed, truthfully, sometimes to protect us, but they don't supposed to stay with us. So, for example, I'll give you an example. Just say you had fear about something. So you're walking down the street, or I'll just use this, you're driving, and all of a sudden you feel this emotion of fear, and something tells you, okay, I can't turn down that street. I need to turn down the other street. And so, because something's not right, I just feel some anxiety or it feels uncomfortable for me, or whatever. But anyway, so you decide to go the other way, and then you find out later that on the next street it was a horrible accident, and you know that accident happened at the time that you were there, and you find out, wow, I could have been that person that was part of that accident. So that's an example of your fear or your anxiety protecting you. So yes, we have emotions. God gave us emotions. We're supposed to experience that emotions, but to keep hurt in us all the time, to keep hate in us all the time, to keep sadness and anger. Our bodies was not designed to just keep it there and let it linger. We're supposed to release it. And because we are made of God's image, and God is love, of course. So we truly should be loved. And so when that happened with my brother, it was like I was just the feeling the hurt and the anger, which of course all in the sadness, which of course is all that was normal. But the thing is with me, it was just lingering. It wasn't going away. So I remember waking up. I was in bed, and so I woke up. It was literally about, excuse me, 4 or 5 in the morning, and I woke up, got out of my bed, went into my living room, got on my knees and start praying. And I was asking God, God, this is not me. I'm not a angry person. I'm not a hurtful person. God, I just need you to lift this hurt and pain off of me. And anyway, I just heard a voice that say, I never gave him to you. And I'm like, huh? And the voice said, I don't give anyone to you. I loan people to you. And if you know that you've done right by them and did right by them in the time that I loaned them to you, then what are you holding on to this hurt and anger for? And I know that I love my brother. So it just, when I said that and I heard that, it just released. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen with everyone or happen with you, but what I'm saying is when you grieve, of course, is normal. It just don't supposed to stay in us forever. And so let's start. So now let's talk about what are ways that we could start the process of healing from the grief that we go to. So, what are some things? So, you can breathe in deeply, and then you can put your hand over your heart, and you can say, it's okay to feel this way. I Let's see, it's okay to feel what I am feeling, and I am doing my best. Psalms 147:3 says, God heals the brokenhearted and bind up their wounds. So we have to do the works too for the healing. So you can create a memory scrapbook, and you can writing letters and sharing meaningful moments. Of course, I'll always say journaling, words of affirmation. I am getting stronger every day, and this is challenging, but I will get through this. And it's also okay to speak to someone too, like your pastor, your life coach, psychologist, psychiatrist, a friend, mentor, family member. You could email me if you like. My email is below. But whatever you have to do in order for us to start the process of healing. So I just want to thank you guys. Thank you guys for being with me, allowing me to share all this with you. And your tip for today is keep a notebook for important health updates for your loved one. So just say if you see some changes in your loved one that they're having, let's see, you could jot them down. If there was doctor visits that, and maybe the other doctor, like for example, you have your primary care physician, but maybe your loved one had to go to the heart doctor or another doctor, then you jot down with them what they say so you could tell the physician, when you, the primary care physician, write down your questions for your primary care physician. Just keep everything in order. What God says, keep, He has everything in decency and order. So just keep everything in order. That way you could have, so you won't be scrambling or saying, man, what was I supposed to do? What was the questions I supposed to ask? You will already have it down in your little tablet. And that way, when you're going to the appointments with your loved one, you can share that with the doctor. Again, if you feel this information is beneficial to you, I would just like for you to like, comment, and subscribe. And I would love to hear you comment um, about healthy ways that you deal with grief, or if you're struggling dealing with grief. I would love for you to comment and share with me. I would love to hear it. Thank you so much for joining me.